All right, guys, I'm here with
Elijah Barfoot.
And what did you place at Indy Regionals?
7-2, I got 10th place.
10th place. All right, what did you play?
I played Dinosaurs.
All right, any shouts before we get into it?
Yeah, shout outs to Jeremy for driving, AJ and Bernard and everybody for just coming down. Knox for getting his invite finally. It was so great. Finally played all these regions, got his invite. And then Cody and Pinot just for being the GOATs and like keeping me playing the game or whatever.
That's awesome. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe, all that. We're just gonna get right into the deck profile.
All right. So this is just the main engine. Dinosaurs is just 3 OVs standard.
Yep.
I'm only playing 1 petite and 3 babies. This has been a little bit more controversial in general, the numbers that people have been playing because of the ground Xeno shit, but I think 4 was fine. 2 UCT, Paint, Giant Rex.
Yep.
I'm only playing 1 Animador and Archosaur. You really only need 1.
Yeah.
1 Misc, obviously.
Yeah.
2 Xenos. There's a reason I'm playing 2, and I'll explain that in a little bit.
Okay.
And then 1 Frost.
All right.
3 ground Xenos, 3 Fossil Digs.
Ooh, that nice quarter century too.
I mean, I'm not a super fan of it because I did have the real CRs, but and then 2 Pills. And then I'm playing 1 Lost World. Honestly, this card is like kind of bad right now, I think, in my opinion. But I wanted to keep 45 cards because the deck has to play a higher number of cards because you play a lot of like bad cards to draw and you don't want to draw multiples.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, you know what, this card does let you play through some cards like Drone Ash, so I'll just keep it as the 45th and we'll just see how this goes. But I honestly feel like this card is not that great now with SP existing because people can just link your token away really easily into SP and force your interactions, and it just does not feel good.
Yeah.
And then consistency cards, more pot of prosperities. I'm also playing another engine that supplements consistency for the deck too. So I'm playing the Wanted package. And the level 1 guy that this card gets out, it's 3 Wanteds, 1 Diabell, and 1 Snake Eye, is this Evil Tile guy. So
okay.
The Evil Tile guy, he can discard a card and then tribute himself to summon any fire dinosaur from your deck. So he can summon the Evil Star Leos that you play, or he can summon your Xeno, which is why you play 2 copies of Xeno, because sometimes you'll have one in your hand from ground Xeno and you want to summon it off of this if you have a baby and extend extra plays. And Leos's effect is whenever he's summoning, he always sets the trap card, which, I mean, we're playing the trap card as well. And then if you summon off a fire monster, I can Foolish Burial a fire dinosaur from my deck.
Oh, that's good.
So essentially, the Wana engine can get you to, with the Wana engine in like any 2 random cards, because you the 1 card that you discard for Diabell, and then the 1 card that you discard for this, plus the Diabell engine gives you 1 card back. But for any 2 random cards and then a Diabell engine, you essentially get this guy on the board, this card for next turn as a set, and you have access to Misc in the graveyard. Or if you have other monsters on the board, you can like mess around with his level and make him like level 6 for other plays and stuff. So it just adds to the consistency of you being able to play the game more often and play through hand traps like Ash and Imperm and stuff. And then for 9 engine, 3 Imperm, 3 Talents, and 3 Fenrir. Fenrir is, I think, one of the best cards with the Diabell engine because it's just like one of the most free cards, good going second. I don't want to play other hand traps because I'm not trying to get Talents in a hand trap format, and Imperm is a pretty good 6 card to draw, and Talents is also good going first or second a handful of times. So I just wanted to stick with just these cards.
All right. And do you regret anything in the main deck besides the field spell, or?
Not particularly. Maybe I need to play a bunch more games with it, but it felt fine.
Yeah. 10th place with Dinos is no joke.
Then the extra deck.
Y'all better recognize him as Dino God.
1 of each of the Evolzars that we play. We don't play the other rank 6 because it doesn't really matter. But like most of your M boards now, because of the Wanted package and the Leos, you usually are typically ending on like 2 of these guys with a trap set to summon the 3rd one on your opponent's turn. It's like weak to Super Poly, but that's about it. Like, I mean, nobody's really playing cards like Dark Ruler or anything, so like you're just like you getting to grind through hand traps with your cards and still being able to end on this with like a Wanted play or like your regular Fossil Day play is just like nice.
Yeah.
And then for the other cards, it's mostly just the rest of these cards are pretty much just utility cards that you play. I'm playing this guy. People don't really play him. He's just essentially for old players. He's a Levier for dinosaurs. So anytime you get to summon Xeno and summon Frost, or off of Leos' effect sometimes to Foolish Frost, or Foolish Xenometeors, you can make this, and this card can like summon back your Misk if it gets banished off a DD Crow or something, and then you can make like an SP to get it back to your graveyard and still get the effects. And there's like other game states where you just make this to just put the Misk back on your board under an Evolzar for follow-up. So like you're just giving yourself an extra turn of like resources after like normally you just get your board broken and then you have nothing.
Okay.
So I think it's really useful. And then Dweller, just you can make this even though you're locked under Xeno because he's a Sea Serpent, and obviously Tier, and people play Tier and people play Unchained and stuff, so that card's just good in those matchups. And then Typhon for the Exceeds. Typhon just comes up sometimes against like the super heavy combo decks, and like you just grind out a little bit, summon them, bounce something. Sometimes you can even bounce UCT to your hand, or UCT to your hand with him, because you're actually putting him on top of this guy sometimes, and he's actually just bigger than UCT.
Yeah.
So like there's even games where like you just summon this, bounce back your UCT for follow-up, and then they still have to try to kill you through whatever other interaction you have. In this build, this card's not really a centerpiece now. It's more of just like a follow-up with the ground Xeno for like going second, or if your opponent really messes you up bad. I didn't really summon him today like at all, but he's better in more of the other builds that I've been playing, but not this one. Baron, there's a cool play with ground Xeno and Baby that lets you start with ending on Baron before you get access to any other hand traps but Ash, where like ground Xeno summons Meteorus, and then your Baby that you pop summons a Misk, and then you just go into this right away, and now they haven't been able to imperm Ovi or anything like that, and then Baron's plan is going to be to pop the Baby that you summon off of Misk when you banish Misk in the Xeno. So yeah, Baron's pretty good, and then obviously good going second. You know, just people. A lot of people, for whatever reason, if they're not familiar with the deck, they like don't realize that the level 6 guy is a tuner. So like you'll get into open game state and I'll be like, yeah, we're good here, resolution or stuff. They're like, yeah, and then I'm just like, all right, make a Baron. And now all of a sudden they're just shitting on themselves. They're like, well, I didn't realize you could just make a Baron there and then force two things out. Yeah. I was like, yeah, Baron's just kind of broken. Chen Ying, once again, he's like this guy. You don't really make him that often in this build. There was a cool, not this tournament, but a different tournament where it came up where Chen Ying actually outs Noor with Delicious under it. Because they just choose not to interact with you at all, and then you just get to a point where you have like Lars, and you summon Lars and summon this, and now because you have so many cards that are banished through Misk and like the Wanted package and stuff, the defense position of the Noor is actually lower than his attack, because he's gaining 100 per and the Noor is losing 100 per because it's a continuous effect. Yeah. And then if they detach material to bounce at, you can Lars negate because they no longer are unaffected. Yeah. So it's actually just like, it doesn't come up that often, but it's just like something cool, so I kept them in.
I mean, it's an out for Hurley that's inside the deck, which is valuable.
Yeah, just in case that interaction came up. And then we're playing Shooting Riser. Shooting Riser is kind of like a bad card that you have to play, I feel like, if you're playing the Evil Sword package that I'm playing. Because you can, if you have Baby, Misk, or anything like that, you can still get access to your full Evil Tile package by going into your regular setup of dinos where you end up with Animadorn, Xeno, and 2 level 4s, or Animadorn, Xeno, Frost, and then a level 4. But what you're doing is you're going to use Xeno and the Animadorn to make this, and this guy's going to Foolish Burial the Reptile, level 1, to make him 6, and that's where the situation where he comes up, because then he'll just resummon one of your banished Misk, and then you can put your Dolka and Leos together, or your Misk and Leos together for Dolka. So then you have a Dolka on the board, and you have your trap live without having access to the Wanted engine, and that's something that you normally wouldn't have if you didn't play a card like this.
Okay, necessary evil, I got you.
And then obviously these also necessary to turn on Pill. SP, I mean, if you're playing a generic deck, you just have to play it. The card's insane. Phoenix and Cerberus. Cerberus isn't as good in this build as it's been in general, because usually Cerberus, I like to use it to pop Lost World tokens, and obviously I'm not trying to lean into that package now. But the other thing that he does is if you open a Xeno Meteorus, these two cards actually destroy a card, so those cards let you special summon the Xeno to extend if they start interrupting you. So like you'll like summon this, discard a card, pop a back row, or pop a monster, then the chain resolves, and now you're like, alright, special summon the level 6 guy from my hand. So it's like surprise plays that they wouldn't know that you have.
Yeah. I love the knowledge you're laying for the people who aren't familiar with this deck, by the way.
Yeah. Then the side deck. Yeah, that's it. Right, yeah, side deck. I'm playing Bestials. I just think they're good enough. They're not like great. This is signed by Brendan. He got 5th at Nationals, so shout out to him too, I guess.
The lucky Magna.
Yeah, because I ended up playing the Magnum that he signed, just in a weird turn of events. But yeah, these are good against Tier, and they're okay against Unchained and like some other matchups. They're level 6, so you can make Lars with them, and you can make the Drill Ignactus with them. and then they're good. And then Druid Swarm also, it just sends a guy too. So like making Nightmares with Druid Swarm or the SP with Druid Swarm is pretty good too.
Yeah, so there's synergy.
3 Drolls. Drolls just pretty good this format. Out of the sideboard, I like it against a lot of decks. You can hard stop some of the decks going second.
It's
And hard stop some of
unnecessary
them
evil.
going first too. Like if you try to set up a board, get hand trapped a couple times, and you just have a droll, and then they try to play, and you just droll them, and then you just need those searches to play through what you set up after that. And they just don't get to sometimes. Call by. I didn't want to main deck it. I mean, I guess call by would have replaced the Lost World, but I just felt like Lost World was a little bit better than just one random call by in my deck.
Yeah.
But this card's like, you just side this thing going first. You don't really side cards going first in this version of the deck. You just like, because you're already setting the trap and setting up a board.
Yeah.
So you already have multiple interactions, so you don't really need to side like anti-spell or anything like that. I feel like just siding these in sometimes going first, or like these in, depending on what you're playing against, is enough.
Yeah.
One Dogoran, because the Dogoran just can just shit on Pearly. Because you just overwrap, just searches it out to the door immediately. Sure, they get cards back, but you're just trying to kill them at that point. You don't really care. So you just like mandatorily have to play a Dogoran. And I just got tired of having them in the main deck and like opening with them going first.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the cards is like a thrust package that I played. So I'm playing 2 thrusts, 2 Dark Ruler. One of these could maybe be different. Dark Ruler wasn't great today, so I didn't know what I wanted the spot to be. It was either this or Nibs, but I felt like I don't play enough hand traps where Nib is good. Because if you draw just Nib by itself, a lot of the times Nib doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then 2 Lightning Storms and a Feather Duster. So the cool thing about Thrust is in this deck when you're going second is you play so many regular spells like Pot, Prosperity, Fossil Dig, Ground Xeno. So not only does this card get to act as like extra copies of these, it also gets to act as an extra copy of your engine when you're playing going second because you have so many cards that it just searches for.
Yeah.
So like you could open like, it like kind of fixes the problem of you opening like 2 going second cards and no play because you just open like Dark Ruler, Thrust, and like a 1 play or whatever, like a Fenrir or something. Some Fenrir they destroy with like an Unchained Guy, and then now all of a sudden your Thrust can go get you an engine piece to actually play the game. You use Dark Ruler, whatever they have left, Thrust gets you an engine piece to play the game, and it's just fine. And then like Featherstorm 2 is like it's like more ideal for like Rescue Ace where you decide this kind of stuff because like Thrust just getting to force out cards like the Deserve package or like a Baron or something, and then you just get to play with your real cards that they wanted to negate in the first place and they don't get to. So
would you recommend Dinosaurs this format? You think it's a pretty good deck to pick up?
I think that it's like a weird combo deck. You just have to roll with the punches because you can just draw bad sometimes, but like you get rewarded if you really know like all the small interactions with the deck that I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to learn because it's not a great deck. But I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! In general is like that. There's a lot of decks that aren't considered tier 1 that like could be a lot better if people put more time into it to actually learn how to play the decks into other decks, but nobody has infinite time, so it makes sense.
Wow.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the deck. So.
All right. Any closing remarks? Anything like that?
No, I mean the deck was fine. It did what it was supposed to do. I'm happy I put the Diabell Star package in there, so I'm not second guessing that stuff anymore. It was good. It's good stuff. Pick up your Wannans now because they're just gonna keep going up. We get more fire support. So.
Hey, market watch advice in the deck profile. It's a staple.
Just pick up.
All right. Well, let me know what you guys think about this deck in the description below. Congratulations again on 10th place.
Yep.
Leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.